Hey, what's up guys? This is King Vox and I have went over the last video that I made about balancing the game as far as bringing up PvE to the level of PvP in this game. I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be neck and neck or something like that, but a lot of players do need something to stand on, something to give them something more to do. Now, although Black Desert is a heavily PvP game, you know, everyone loves PvP. Okay, but also we love adventures and stuff like that. Like, we play these fantasy games to immerse into them and actually enjoy them without having to be competitive 100% of the time, you know. Even in games like Guild Wars and Wild and stuff like that, players that don't necessarily PvP end up PvPing a lot because it's just a very fun thing to do, and then vice versa. But in this game, that you don't really get rewarded for group content. So what I'm going to suggest are, you know, my whole ideas for making this game group friendly is taking away the penalty from being in a group, as far as like minus experience per person you get in a group. That alone will increase group combat and group content by a crap load. And then also increasing the drop chance while in a full 5-person group, not a like 2-man or duo or 3-man, a full group with, you know, with the group is 100% filled, to increase the drop chance in that group by 20%. Now what this is going to do is this is going to bring in the people that are already one-shotting everything, because if you're already one-shotting everything, right, what's the purpose of being in a group? Why would you share your loot with anyone else if you're already, like, you know, what is the group, how does the group benefit you? So now they have something or whatever that's like, they don't feel that they're being completely, you know, hindered by just being in the party when they can already run around and one-shot stuff. And as a wizard, I already understand that every group that I'm in, unless there's like a Musa or a Meiwa, you know, that are like ridiculously fast, I already one-shot all the mobs in all the places I grind for. So I don't have any intentions of joining anybody in a group or having anyone, playing with anyone that's not a real friend of mine. And what I mean by that is, you know, just because I'm in your guild doesn't mean I fuck with you. You know what I mean? And that's true across the board for every player. Like, you know, like, I don't want to grind with you if we're not friends. You know what I mean? For my friends, I can make that sacrifice and I can join group and stuff like that. And even my friends, even some of them, I won't, you know, I won't grind with them. You know, me and Fox, Wolf, there's a bunch of us or whatever. Like, we're cool and we're friends and stuff like that, but we don't grind with each other. You know, it just feels like too big of an inconvenience. It's like, why would we? You know what I mean? Like, even when we were all in the same guild, we didn't grind together. So, and that's kind of crazy to think about that. So another thing is, when you're in a guild with a player or you're partied inside, they should have some type of guild reward. So if you have if more than 60% of the party consists of nothing but guild members, you should also get something towards your guild. Like, maybe your guild splits some of the currency or whatever that you gain or something like that without hindering the currency that you're making. There's a lot of systems that are easily implemented that they can actually add on to this game that will make grouping a no-brainer and will make it fun. How much more fun? Like, you can literally, when you're playing with your friends in any other game, sometimes you can lose track of time and it'll be 10 hours later and you'll be like, damn, like, it's like 4 in the morning, what the hell happened? You know, and that's because you were playing with friends and you were having a great time. But when you grind by yourself, it's so draining, you know. So the only real motivation to grind with anyone nowadays, you know, is just so it's not so boring. But I feel that there's no need for the EXP drop off in groups anymore. That's a very old system, and I just feel like there's no need for it. Doesn't need to be in the game. I think they should reward people for grouping up, because that's what makes for fun content. It's just grouping up and having friends. Now, as far as content to add, as far as like dungeons and stuff like that, there's a lot of speculation about traditional dungeons. Now, although I stated traditional dungeons may not work, But I forgot to think about Guild Wars, because Guild Wars has almost a traditional dungeon without the synergy, without the whole, you know, the holy trinity or whatever you want to call it, where there's a tank, healer, DPS, range, and all that stuff, and you need these specific roles or whatever in order to get these dungeons done, right? So when I think about that, and I'm just like, oh man, BDL doesn't really have anything like that. We wouldn't be able to sustain heals on a tank, or the tank wouldn't be able to sustain aggro and stuff like that, because there's no taunt skills or anything like that. But then you think to yourself, you're like, okay, Guild Wars done it, so it can actually be done, and Guild Wars dungeons are actually really fun, and you know, it's great just joining a group knowing that you don't need a tank or a healer, you know, and certain classes can pull towards these roles, you know, to like save people, like a wizard or whatever. Like, oh, if maybe someone misses something, a wizard can top everyone off, but you're gonna have to really be reliant on getting the hell out of the way of damage. You get what I mean? So group content is something I think that could literally put BDO, like, it doesn't, like, at this point we don't even need dungeons. At this point we just need groups to be worth a damn. We just really need groups to be worth it. That's it. And as far as like guilds and stuff like that, guilds and BDO are doing a pretty good job of being actual guilds and working together as much as they can. As far as, I think the grouping situation, them fixing that would instantly make guilds or whatever more fun as well, because you would be, you know, wanting to group more with your actual guildies. But trust me, listen, I've played every MMO out right now just about, and I gotta tell you, the guild systems and every other game are starting to become meh. What I mean by that is they don't really have any substance. And in Guild Wars, guilds, because people can have 5 guilds, what happens is no one really cares about any guild. So you just have all these people that just want to be in a slot with people, but they don't actually really do anything, like, as far as a guild is concerned. Like, they play together as friends, where they can obviously just do that just by being on a friends list, but there's no incentive to be in a guild in that game whatsoever. There's nothing that stops you from doing anything outside of a guild. So the only guilds in Guild Wars that I feel that are like worth being in is probably like a raid guild or a fractal guild or something like that, or a war versus world guild maybe. But to be honest, every guild that I've joined in that game in the past year has been all kind of like, I would say, lackluster. There's been no initiative to get to know one another, and most of the people only rep during a certain thing. So what happens is you're disconnected from everyone. It doesn't really feel that you're in a guild. It just seems like an extension of your friends list, and people just want to be in guilds just to be in them. And that's kind of sad. But in Black Desert guilds actually do stuff together. I would say even more than World of Warcraft. Like, the Black Desert guilds or whatever are more communicative than the World of Warcraft guilds, and there's no group content in Black Desert really. You get what I mean? So it's kind of amazing how cool Black Desert guilds actually are, even without being able to group up and grind together. But I think the whole group thing that I said, getting rid of the penalties of being in a group, will completely solve some problems that people have, and will keep people longer in the game. So that's my thoughts on it. You guys, feel free to comment down below on what you think. Give your opinion, and give me more ideas, and I'll make a follow-up to a follow-up of a follow-up of this video. You know what I mean? Now, sleep well, chicken nuggets. This is your boy King Vox, and I'm out. It's not King Vox, I'm King Vox. Yeah, whatever. Peace out.